Today I want to talk to you about the amazingly effective use of stories in your home. I use figurines while I tell stories, and it helps the child understand what I'm saying, especially when they're very young. It gives them a visual to keep them interested, and it also is an opportunity for them to retell the story. If you tell the same story for a few days or for a week, they'll start telling the same story using the same figurines, and so they're using their mind and they're building memory, which is wonderful. So the reason why I love storytelling for children in early childhood, from the littlest 2-year-old to the biggest 6-year-old to 7-year-old, is because the world is a very complicated place, and a story is like a snapshot of the world, and it explains it in such a way that they can understand it easily and digest it simply. So, for instance, I had a child who was very young, and he was biting when he was feeling frustrated, which is very typical. And I told a story that day about a kitty who was biting all of his friends, and none of his friends wanted to play with him. And so the little kitty was very sad. But then the goose told him that the reason why nobody wanted to play with him was because he was biting his friends and they did not want to get hurt. And the kitty was surprised and thought, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to hurt my friends." And so the kitty stopped hurting his friends and started playing nicely, and everyone played happily. And that story was amazingly effective because the next day the child stopped biting. And what's fascinating is that the child was probably immersed in his own emotions, having a little frustration over his lack of ability to express himself. But in the story, he was able to see how others are experiencing the situation. And I wasn't pointing out his behavior problem, I was pointing out the cat's behavior problem. And he was able to see it clearly, and it was beautiful. So that's why I love stories. You can really address a behavior issue by taking the attention off the child and putting it on a character like a cat or a rooster or a goose, and you tell the story the same way every day for a week, and you'll see how quickly the child will modify their behavior. It's really magical, so I strongly encourage storytelling.